As we saw in the last section, we've got image upload working already. You can see here. I'm always amazed when things like this actually work, so it's really exciting that we got it working so quickly. There's a lot more to do though, so in this section we'll start by adding some validations for the things being uploaded. In particular, we'll add a maximum size for the images, while also making sure that they're in an acceptable image format. This is actually not supported natively by Active Storage as of this recording, but as is so often the case, there's a gem for adding this missing functionality, in this case called Active Storage Validations. Let's add it to the gem file. And I actually have the tabbing here already set up for it, so that the spacing is lined up. Again, as usual, you should use the ones online when in doubt, but this is working now. Let's look at the micropost model. We'll say validates content, then validates image. We'll start with content type. We can validate the content type to be in a certain set of valid formats. So in colon, and then %w gives us an array here of strings. And these are what are called MIME types. The valid image MIME types are JPEG, GIF, or GIF, depending on how you pronounce it, and PNG. So let's put those in. By the way, JPEG is the only valid JPEG MIME type, even though oftentimes the images themselves are .jpg. And we need to add a message for if this validation fails. Must be a valid image format. And then let's have the size be less than, say, 5 megabytes. This is all right from the documentation, so this is the kind of thing where you can either look it up there or you can follow a tutorial like this. Less than 5.megabytes, and then have the message let's try it out. So let's look at choose file. And I have here a copy of the Ruby on Rails tutorial. So this is the wrong format. It's a PDF format. And it's also too big. You can see it's taking some time. It actually does have to upload it. Ah, there's an error here. Actually, is this caught by the tests? Probably not. We don't have tests for this. Okay, that's too bad. That's the way it goes sometimes when you're doing this sort of thing. Oh, okay. So unknown validator, content type validator. This is a sign that the system hasn't been adequately updated with the thing we just added. So when you add a gem like that, sometimes you have to restart the server. So that's probably what happened. All right, let's take a look again. Refresh it. Actually, let's just do this here. Okay, so do it again. Has to upload it. We're actually going to add a validation on the client side to prevent these uploads. But we should have 3 errors because the content is blank and then there are 2 things wrong with the image. And there we go. Content can't be blank. Image must be a valid image format. Image should be less than 5 megabytes. So it's working. That's pretty cool. But as we saw, this actually involves uploading the file. So I'm going to add a little JavaScript. It's not important to understand exactly where this comes from. This isn't a JavaScript tutorial. We're actually going to use a library called jQuery to enforce the 5 megabyte limit. I suggest just copying and pasting this and then verifying that it works. So it's here, micropost form. So this is a little messy. Ordinarily, I would put this in a separate function. We would actually want to factor this out into a separate file. That sort of thing is covered in Learn Enough JavaScript to be dangerous. But this is good enough for our purposes now. Just paste this in. Again, don't worry about the details. But basically, we just calculate the size of the file and then put up an alert if it's too big. Let's try this. Refresh. Actually, just do this here. Choose file. Aha! Maximum file size is 5 megabytes. Please choose a smaller file. It would also be nice to be able to catch on the client side an invalid image format. And indeed, we can do this with an option to file field called accept. So we'll go here. Oh, no, it's right here. Yeah, file field image. And then we can say accept. And then the same valid MIME types. So like this. Try one more time. Choose file. Ah, look at that. It's grayed out. I can't even select it. What about this? This is a full resolution file. Oh, too big. Now, it's essential to emphasize that these client-side validations are only for convenience. They don't actually prevent anything from happening. So for example, it's possible to use a command line client, something like curl, to hit this page, log in, and then upload a file that's too big. It's also the sort of thing you could do with a Ruby script or a Python script or something like that. So we still need the server-side validations in order to prevent the uploading of invalid file formats and files that are too big. But this is still really convenient because it will catch most of the cases on the client side. So it's convenient for us as the developers, and it's also convenient for the user.